Hi, this is James Zhang with Full Capital, and I'm here with David.Austin of JLL to go through a new deal. David, thanks for jumping on and taking us through this deal. Maybe they kick it off. Give us a little bit of your background, and then a little bit about your firm, and then we'll get into this deal.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. David.Austin. I work at JLL as a senior director. Grew up here in Dallas. Went to Texas A&M for school and came back to Dallas about 10 years ago and started working for HFF, which was acquired by JLL about 3 years ago.
All right, so we're going to be talking about a new deal, 200 units over in Denton, Texas. So maybe give us a little bit of the lay of the land of where this deal sits and the location of it.
Sure. You're in North Denton, which is seeing a lot of growth right now. Population in just broader city of Denton is growing by 5 to 6% a year going back to the year 2000. So quite a bit of growth. Where we're positioned in the north side of Denton is seeing a lot of development from a single family perspective following that population growth. Denton feeds off a number of economic drivers, a couple of which are the universities that are there. University of North Texas, Texas Women's University, supply a lot of jobs and commerce for the city. There's a handful of students that live at the property, but more so supplying jobs to this immediate area. We're located just down the street from Evers Park Elementary School, which is really well regarded by niche. And Denton ISD has $750 million bond money that they've been pumping back in to build and remodel their current schools. So one of those projects is building a new high school, which is about a mile down the street. So that will be very convenient to residents of Kingswood. There's also a bunch of new single family development that's going on in the area, several different subdivisions that are being built. Those homes are going to be selling in the $300,000 to $500,000 range.
So the elementary school sort of sits. Let me go back to this picture.
Yeah.
So I think the elementary school is sort of out here. So if you're looking east of the property, so it's about probably a mile away. You said the elementary school, and then the new high school is going where? Is it?
It's to the west of the property. So
West
it's
of the
about
property.
a mile to the west. Evers Park Elementary, which is right there, is walkable. I mean, it's maybe like a quarter mile, and then that's a big Evers Park, which has a bunch of baseball, softball fields, and amenity space for area residents.
Okay. All right. Great. And then so you can sort of either get down to University of North Texas or Texas Women's, or even take I-35 or the Loop into Dallas or Fort Worth from here. Let's talk about this property and give us a little bit an overview of this property. Maybe a little bit about the seller and the history on the property.
Sure. So the group that owns it is called Wealth Grow Investments. We sold it to them about 3 years ago. They've been working through units as they come available and residents vacate. Turnover has been pretty low, so they've had a high renewal rate. Been doing really a partial renovation. So this is, what we show here, this is a renovation that was done by the previous owner. So there's a handful of kind of granite and stainless units, maybe 10 or 12 total. But the balance of the property is either going to be classics or partial renovations that will have black appliances, resurfaced countertops, painted cabinet fronts, and some updated lighting fixtures. So there's quite a bit of opportunity for new ownership to come in and do kind of a modern renovation. And James, if you want to go back to that submarket overview real quick, I'll throw in a couple stats. Submarket is growing like crazy, just like Denton is. And so during 2021, Denton averaged 12% rent growth, 1,000 units of positive net absorption into the city. So occupancy went up and rents really got pushed. That's going to continue into 2022 as supply pipeline is going to be even less than it was in 2021. So things should tighten even further. And MPF research is projecting 10.5% rent growth for the submarket of Denton for this year. So another robust rent growth year is planned for Denton. and the city and the Kingswood has really been seeing that as well, just like the city has. Their trade out reports are 13% higher over this time last year. So they're moving rents organically pretty nicely.
Right. And then, so I guess talk about this specific property in terms of, year of construction and sort of the mechanical piece of this deal.
Sure. 200 units built in the early 80s. It's all 2-story, mostly brick and hardy. Low density design, a ton of green space with a big, grassy area where they added a pet park. You could come in and add new pool furniture, maybe a playground to play off the strong area schools. We're asking 31 million for this offering, which is 155 a door, and it's a 3.9% in place cap rate, tax adjusted. So some strong yield for this location.
Talk about where
they're really well occupied as well, in the high 90% range. Individual HVAC. There's 4 boilers on the property. Those have all been replaced in the last 5 years. So mechanically, property's in very good shape and has the major ticket items taken care of.
And then talk about the sort of where rents are today and where you think they can go for this property.
Sure. So in-place rents currently are about $950. When looking at the competitive set, we feel there's at least $150 of rent growth potential, which we show, I think, on the next page. They've been leasing at a really, great clip at the property level, but doing a more robust upgrade, I think, would allow things to push even further. Cooper Glen was on the market recently and is really a great comp just down the street that, we're pointing to. Rents, it's a little bit of a newer asset, but, very similar location and product, and rents are almost, for a little bit over $400 higher. So that's really a comp we're pointing to a lot and to help tell the story.
So right in between, so Kingswood's a little bit newer than Denton North, but a little bit older than Cooper Glen. So just falling within that range, you think is a good place to be for this property.
That's right. Yeah, and Denton North is right across the street, and Cooper Glen is just on the other side of Evers Park Elementary that we touched on.
All right. And then obviously, coming in, you're thinking come in, do mostly interior rehabs. Do you think anything on the exterior or the amenity set could need some work on the rehab basis?
Yeah, the pool area is very nice. It looks great. I think it would be well received to add new pool furniture to make it pop a little bit more. They have a nice kind of outdoor kitchen. It's just got, a charcoal grill at this point. Maybe adding a nice, stainless steel propane tank would be a good upgrade. They've got some storage lockers that they're not charging for right now that the property is just using. They have ample, storage space for the property. So we think getting those online and charging residents $50 to $100 depending on the size would be a good idea. A couple of the other things we're adding into the cash flow here is, starting a cable and internet package, charging residents $90 a month where they get, high-speed internet and cable, adding washer dryer sets to the units, adding washer dryer connections to those that don't have connections so far. And that's happened on a few floor plans, so it kind of proves out the opportunity going forward. There's a few of the additional items that we added into our pro forma. And then
all right, so you're thinking, all right, come in, upgrade the interior units, maybe bring the units to market. That's going to help your effective rental income, some other income items to boost that. And then anything on the expense side, like anything that the current owner has done or in terms of management, you think we could improve upon here at the property?
They did switch management companies for their entire portfolio a couple of weeks before we hit the market. So there are some expense line items that should start to trend down, like payroll. So that's something to watch as we get into the offer round.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a good size deal. So 200 units. I mean, most management companies would be able to manage this one pretty easily with maybe 2 in, 2 out on the management side. And then I think we mentioned it earlier. The whisper is 31 million on this deal.
That's right.
Okay, so 31 million. I mean, if you looked at it sort of Fannie and Freddie, and it's coming in around 16 to 17 million, depending on whether you go fixed or float, and then sort of what your prepayment is. And then on the bridge side, which we're seeing majority of acquisitions go bridge right now, you can get 75, even up to 80% of the purchase price. And this is a larger deal, so you're over 20 million, which is good. We're seeing some bridge lenders sort of increase their minimum. I haven't seen many minimums, let's say above 20. So 20 is a good size. And so I think there'll be a lot of competition in terms of lenders who would bid on this deal sort of in that $23-24 million bridge loan amount. And then most deals right now we're seeing of this size, you're probably 3.5%, maybe 3.25, depending on the strength of the borrowing group in terms of the spread over LIBOR or SOFR. So good debt that you can place on this deal. So I know you guys have been out for about a week. So maybe talk about the process if people want to get out, tour the deal, and maybe ask any questions from there.
Sure. So we are doing property tours. My email and phone number are there. If you want to give me a call, please do so. We can set those up whenever is convenient. We'll probably call for offers towards the end of February. And we think this is a really good opportunity for 80s product, 200 plus units with a good value add story to for a new owner to take advantage of.
All right, David. Any last parting words or anything that we forgot to cover? I usually like to ask just to make sure that we covered everything here on the slides, or anything else that people should remember before coming out and doing a tour.
Yeah, if you call that phone number, you may not get to me, but mine is 469-232-1993.
1993. All right, we got an update. So apologize for that. I'll update the notes here and make sure that we get that right. So I appreciate David coming on, and we will get people out there on tours. And then if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us and we can get you out there. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, James.
All right. Thanks.